I'm not
Come on,
down
stay
here
with us.
again,
Come
no.
on, we'll have a crack.
No.
We would have
Come on,
changed.
for God's sake, we'll have a crack.
It's upsetting. It's upsetting for everybody here. If you're here, you should be here from your heart. You should be here because you want to be here. And I personally don't feel that she is thinking like that.
Do you want me to go jump show it to me and I'll go over and have a look at it?
I'll keep it warm. I'll keep it warm. Come on.
You can't just allow one person to dominate the group and for other people to be feeling uncomfortable in the group. So certainly it would be addressed in a very sensitive manner.
Like, we all actually want to be here. Do you know what I mean? We wouldn't actually turn around and say we're going. Do you know what I mean? We never even thought of it this weekend. Like, you're going home.
We've had one or two issues that have come up naturally, and we've tried to deal with them as tutors, but also their own fellow classmates have tried to help and support them as well. But I'm hoping with support of the peers that all the guys will stay the course.
Going to our derbs on Wednesday. Next week, we'll see if Rose will return to Capure. How will this affect the other students? Will they all return? If you would like to improve your reading, writing and numeracy, call the National Adult Literacy Agency on free phone 1800 2020 65. That's 1800 2020 65. Last week on Written Off, our 11 students travelled into the Wicklow Wilds on a journey that could open a new chapter in their lives.
Just me and my dad and get on. Sorry to say, I ended up being homeless over it.
They've all decided to make a fresh start and are taking part in a unique learning programme.
This promises to be an exciting journey for each one of us. There will be times ahead where it will be difficult.
Biggest reason why people don't actually try to fulfill their goal, do you know what it is? The fear of people turning around and saying, you know what, you're stupid.
If the 11 thought that life was going to be easy after weekend one, they soon realised it wouldn't be plain sailing.
I was getting a taxi home at 4 o'clock this morning. I am very serious. That's the type of a person I am. I'm not coming down here again.
Rose, don't do
No,
that.
I'm not.
With the drama of last weekend still fresh in their minds, many of the 11 were unsure about returning to Capure. But as the bus pulls up, one by one they get on board. But the question remains, will Rose appear?
Rose is a woman that can speak her mind. Like, she's real straightforward, tell you there and then. She's the sort of person that does change her mind at the last minute. Like, she's probably saying, oh no, I'm not going back down there. Like, I was upset over the last weekend and I wasn't enjoying myself. But you never know, at the day that we go down, she might change her mind and say, I'm gonna do this.
Rose decides to give the course a second chance. But this time, it's not just for her niece Stacey.
When I went down last week, it wasn't really for myself. But this time, it's for both of us. I was observing her all the time without her actually knowing, to make sure that she was all right, but she was great at integrating. So that kind of gave me the thing to drive as well, to go back. But I'm going back for myself as well.
I just feel that you actually don't know what Rose is going to come out with anyway.
She's a character, definitely.
She's a character in herself.
There's only one Molly Malone, but there's definitely only one Rose Lynch. You know? and she learned to evolve that way. That was a defence for Rose. There's nothing wrong with me, I do nothing wrong. So you get that out of Rose, you know. She has to express herself in her body, in her face and manner and her words. But there's a lot of things she says she doesn't mean. It's just that she's taught more about it than the average human being.
I got a great buzz out of it. I thought the teachers was brilliant. And I did learn something from the classroom. I learned how to spell my address, for instance. Do you know what I mean? Where I wasn't able to do that when I went down. So that's a start for me.
As the group prepares for their second weekend, the air still needs to be cleared.
Last weekend didn't run 100% smoothly, okay? Some things were good, but there were other things that didn't go 100%. And that could be personality clashes, you're in a different environment, you're staying here, you're not only in the classroom together, you're living together, you're eating together. So on these sheets, write down how this weekend can be more positive than last weekend. Some ideas. Teamwork, respect, that kind of stuff, okay.
Kathleen and Bobby revisit the group contracts drawn up by all 11 in the first weekend. The group must agree on how to work together in order to continue.
Be positive, brilliant, okay.
No.
The tutors stress the importance of persistence and giving people a second chance.
Throughout the weekend, no matter what happens, everybody deserves a second chance. Sometimes people deserve 3, 4 chances. And for the 8 weeks to work, you will make them work as a group.
The theme of this weekend is memory, and I suppose it fits in very well with this 8 weeks. Sometimes people returning to adult education would feel they have a very poor memory. They can't remember spellings, they can't remember words. And what we'll be focusing on this weekend is looking at how they've remembered other things. For example, they've learned how to drive, maybe they've learned a musical instrument, they are very good at cooking. So they do in fact have a very good memory. It's just they've never been given the techniques in the first place.
Andrew has always had severe memory problems. He spent last weekend living and learning with the rest of the group. But now 1 week later, he struggles to remember any of their names.
We all have some kind of fault in our literacy. And when you put people at different ages and how they're different we are and different learning techniques, and it's the experience that and hoping that you can pick up something, because we all learn from everybody. What's the woman from Cork and Consent? Who? Norma. I got on well with Norma. She's lovely. She came across lovely person. Joan from Kerry, is it Joan? Jane from Kerry. Keith is it from Cork with the Ronnie. And just today now I'm just getting his one. Caroline, my poor Caroline, what about her? She's just brilliant, you know. Where she's come just in the weekend and herself, wow, you know. She's just going to shine on this, so I can just see her happy days. Rose. Who's Rose? Which one is Rose? Oh, the wee little mad one. What can I say? She's a feisty woman, all right. Characters. See, there's characters all across the road, you know, all across the board. And it's just going to be amazing. And no doubt I'll probably throw a wobbly as well, and that's going to be great when I do.
Every weekend, the group share an evening meal in the company of someone who has managed to overcome their own literacy difficulties. This weekend, they're joined by the author, Don Mullen.
Don Mullen is a journalist and author. Don also has dyslexia, and one of the guys here, Andrew, has dyslexia, so I'm sure Andrew's going to be very interested in talking to Don tonight.
I remember we had one particular teacher who took us, and we had him only for 3 weeks, but the impact that man had in my life lasted for 30 years. He called out a list one day of all the lads that he considered were capable of actually passing the exam. But legally, all children had the right to sit this exam, so he read out the list, and my name wasn't on it. And he then asked the question, is there anybody's name who's not on the list but still wants to sit this exam? And I put my hand up. And I always remember, he looked at me, and loud enough for me and all the other members of the class to hear, he went, you've no chance. And I remember the class all burst into laughter. But that voice was in my head for 30 years. And it caused me to doubt my intellectual capabilities all through life. And then at the age of 38, I discover that I'm dyslexic.
These are way before my time, all black and white one. A few of Italy there, they have kind of little festivals. They take the statue of the Blessed Mary and they leave them up in the mountains for a couple of days and have mass and little festival, and you run around with bangers and fireworks. Wow. I'm Irish, anyhow, for starters. My mother came over, she's just shortly after the war from Monte Cassino. She went working in Capel Street for Charlie's Chippers. At that time, my father was from Farnham. He owned a bicycle shop in Capel Street. He met my mother. They moved down to Newbridge. I was only a wee baby growler, little grasshopper. But Dad passed away when I was about 10. You know, so when it came to me learning, I never actually had somebody tutoring me, sitting me down to help me with my homework. So it was a quick scribble, close the book, out the door, and away playing.
Next one is number 28. It is rough. The table has a rough surface. Rough.
I'd never actually heard the word dyslexic in my child days. It was either dumb or stupid.
Careless mistakes can cause accidents.
But I knew I wasn't, you know. It was a slow class I was put in. And for a child of my age to be put in a slow class, and you see all your friends moving on the year, and there's no will then, you know. You just have no interest in learning. When it comes to words and reading and understanding, it would actually take longer for my brain to process an actual word, whereas people would probably scan it, oh yeah, right, that's grand. Where my brain would have a tendency to play with the letters. Oh yeah, that looks funny, yeah. Oh, my little man. What can I say about him? I couldn't believe at such a young age he was buying Harry Potter books. And I found it, wow, what's going on here? A kid at 10 years of age. So that's kind of when I said at 40, I'm gonna go back to school. That was for me, look, my son's 10. I'm gonna go, I wanna learn how to read a book as well. I won't say I ever felt ashamed. I might have been upset, all right. Life gives you a deal of cards. You know, unfortunately, this is the card I have. You know, I don't see anything as problems. They're all solutions. It's just finding the solution is the problem.
Often referred to as a Gary by the Allies.
You know, as I mentioned earlier, like, reading still is a difficulty with me, and I can't explain it, but when I look at the page, I can only read one word at a time. I can't see what's the left or what's the right.
Everything he said, just every single thing he said, I could relate to. Like I was saying, that's my lifestyle. Well, he's just starting to saying, he's talking about my life, but he wasn't even talking about his own. He's the first bloke I ever listened to and actually sat there and listened to him and be quiet.
It's kind of almost like our brains work in a different way. That's all it is. Like, whereas some people might go from A to B, it might take us to go from A to C to B, but we'll get there.
It was the first time I knew about this dyslexics or dylesis, whatever it's called. But I never even knew it was a sickness. It should be well known that people suffer from it.
I never knew that.
I didn't know it there, that's what I said. Now I know it.
8 a.m. Saturday morning, and the group has an energetic beginning to the day. Guest Dave McFarlane from Team Samba is here to prove that learning doesn't always have to be in class.
This morning, I'm going to teach you how to play samba. Within the space of an hour, we'll have a full finished piece worthy of performance. Okay, everyone's going to play an instrument. Okay, there'll be some people playing bass drums, some playing a go-go bells, some playing tambourines,
The activity this morning is Team Samba, and Dave, the facilitator, is getting the group to do different beats with all different musical instruments to get a beat going. And it's very good from the point of view of memory and people learning their different learning styles. To see how are they learning? Are they learning by watching Dave? Are they visual? Are they learning by listening when Dave's done it? Can they repeat it? Or do they have to actually do it themselves? If they can master this, well then we'll apply that to then in their literacy class.
Good. I want you to play it like a woman, not a lady. Do you know what I mean? It's dong, 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 dong. Okay, it's not going to break, right? They're not used to remembering. You're used to remembering other things, you know, but you're not used to remembering stuff, strange stuff like this, you know, beats on drums, you know. You're totally taking them out of their comfort zone. Rose on the shakers was fantastic. You saw her doing her little dance in the middle. It's like she's missed her vocation, you know. At last, she could play the shakers, you know. Stacey, I think, here on the bass drums was fantastic. Brilliant. She was like solid as a rock, standing there, dum 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 dum, no bother to her. It's like she's been doing it all her life, you know.
Rose has her story to tell, and I have no story. I'm just like this. So it could be school, it could be at home, it could be that my ma's not able to help me with my homework, and my dad's too busy. Or it could be that the teachers just can't see that I have a problem. I can't really tell you the answer, because I just don't know. It's just how I am. My ma and our sisters left school early and they didn't get to read or write. I kind of thought that I got my ma's changed because I couldn't spell her, and because she's the exact same as me, you know, that way.
I conned her for a long time with her reading and writing when I used to do her homework with her, you know. And she got to an age then where she said, Dad, you're just doing that for me, I may as well not be doing it. You know, most kids would be delighted to have a dad that'd do that and say, yeah, it's done now, you can go out and play. Yeah. There's not a teacher that can't say a good word about Stacey. But when it comes to the real education of Stacey, there's a lot of teachers that will step back. They knew from very young where Stacey was at in her literacy. It's just that the backup wasn't there for to provide a second class, you know, that class that all the kids take, you know, the stupid class, which is a horrible stigma to have, you know. So she picked her up from that, and she's very aware of her literacy and how far she can go.
My close friends know about my writing difficulties. I've told them, and on my junior cert, they come up and gave me a hand. In my junior cert, I managed fine. I had a reader for my English and for all my other subjects that I had to do. So it was kind of easier for me. When I started working, like, that came up, and I used to be like annoyed at myself because I wasn't able to do it. Then I'd be saying, all right, like, I think I'll leave work because of it.
Hello, parents, pizza. Yeah, what's your address?
When I'm writing out addresses, I don't know the spelling of them, so I do ask them what's the spelling on the phone. When I'm put on the spot for to do something, I can't really do there and then, like, so I do get nervous doing that.
She would have been shy like myself as well, like, but since the weekend now, she said she had a brilliant time and she had us in knots of laughing.
Maybe it was a godsend that this all happened, because it didn't just come out of the blue. It's either given her so much confidence in herself as an individual, not as part of the family. Like, she was individually doing this thing. She's meeting strange people and they become new people.
Yeah, it might open more doors for me, for college, for work, for anything. It could open more doors because I'd be confident.
Yeah, I've great trust in her. She said that growing up in the last week that I just have to grin it and bear it, you know. All right, love, you know what you're doing.
Each of you have inside your skull the most complicated entity in the known universe. And the question is, how do we make the most of that? And that's what I'll be talking about today. People who have missed out on education earlier in their life have got more of an uphill struggle to get to the same level. But what they do have when they're older, though, is their brains have developed fully and they can probably concentrate better and they can maybe be more motivated to learn. So these things can compensate for having missed out in that brain moulding education earlier in life.
I had a fierce trouble with dyslexia, right?
Okay.
Spelling that. Now for 2 weeks I was working in a dyslexic centre, so I had dyslexic all over me.
Right.
But ask me a month onwards, I couldn't spell it.
Okay. Well, I'll try this then. Supposing you meet someone new here called Jim O'Dwyer, okay? So I'm Jim O'Dwyer, imagine that. When you meet Jim O'Dwyer, what you do is make sure you say his name a few times.
Keep the name when you're introduced to somebody, say the name 2 or 3 times. So I tried it with Ian. Even afterwards now, I was able to remember his name is Jim O'Dwyer. There I knew 2 names, and I was able to split them between the handshake and the conversation and everything else. So, yeah, I got that out of it.
And then maybe tomorrow,
You're
lunchtime.
probably going to forget your real name and just call you Jim O'Dwyer.
That's right.
Because I see where you're coming from. It is starting to click, Jim O'Dwyer, because you're saying it all the time.
It's very complicated for me because, I'm being honest with you, I don't know, I can't understand what you're saying.
All right.
Because it's like going in one ear and out the other for me. I haven't used my brain like in so long. Like I use it on the weekend when I'm here, and then I just forget like then, because I have other things to be doing in my life. Yeah, it's not fit probably. That's what's probably wrong with it.
So the challenge for you is to see if you can learn to concentrate a bit better, because if you concentrated a bit better, you would understand better what you were hearing or reading. Does that make sense to you?
A little bit.
Paul had been living rough on the streets of Dublin for the last 4 years, but he started to make real changes in his life when he learned that his girlfriend was pregnant.
When I first got told, I was scared. I was scared to tell my mum, I was scared to tell my dad. When I did, I got the head ate on me because my girlfriend's so young. After a month, it just sunk in. I went, I'm going to be a dad, so I'm delighted. Can't wait. Little baby girl, hopefully. I want to teach my child myself how to read, and the child come in to me and say, oh Dad, will you read that out to me? Instead of saying, oh go on to your man will do it for you. You know what I mean? Imagine me telling my child I couldn't read, and the child at 8 or 9 how to read and write before it started, like. I'd be ashamed of my life for it. The 2 days that was, I enjoyed myself big time. Everything was bang on. I swear to God, the learning was perfect. The teachers are bang on. The people in it are bang on. So, like, I'm going down there to learn from my child.
Saturday evening back at Capure, and the students are asked to dress formally for tonight's class.
Hi guys, good evening. My name is Brian Redmond. I've been 3 times All-Ireland ballroom dancing champion. And tonight, we're going to try and teach you guys to ballroom dance. Okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask my assistant here, Kathleen, to help me demonstrate some basic jive. And then in a couple of minutes' time, we're going to get you guys up on the floor, and we're going to start working with you to try and teach you guys some basic jive. Okay? Back and side to side, back. Side to side, back. Back and 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. There's things we do in life. For example, if you're actually typing, that's all done through muscular memory. The fingers know where the keys are, they appear to move themselves. I suppose it's actually storing very important information very deep in the brain, so the actions are created naturally and very quickly without the conscious side of the brain actually having to do it. It's almost like that feeling that you get when you drive a regular route home from work and you arrive home thinking, I don't remember anything that I did on the way. The body looked after itself and it just took you from A to B in a normal, everyday pattern. She's having a great one. The smaller guy, Andrew, was very good. He was excellent. I think he felt more confident and more relaxed than some of the others did, and it seemed to come to him very, very naturally. Stacey was also excellent. I think because she was younger, she felt that this was her thing. It was something that she could do, she could really thrive at.
This has been a big week in Paul's life. 2 days before he joined up with the others in Capure, his girlfriend gave birth to a baby boy.
Now, Mammy, if you when she comes home, right? Didn't think this day would come. Trust me, it was scary. Like any bloke that tells you that it's not, that lying. I only found out it was a boy when it popped out. She said, what do you think it is? I said, a little girl. She goes, it could be right. And it pops out, and it's a boy. Still over the same, like, it's just, I thought it was a girl, like. There's an awful lot of responsibility, like. So, like, I had to cop on, like, in the last month, 2 months. That baby's just a miracle. Brings everything out, I swear to God.
I'd just like to say congratulations to Paul on his newborn.
Very nice, Paul.
Hip hip. Hooray! Hip hip. Hooray!
He sleeps all day. He wakes up for 2 hours and sleeps for 4 or 5 hours and then wakes back up. Then he goes to sleep for another 2 hours and wakes back up.
He seems a foot taller. It's amazing what a baby, like, he seems to be really confident now with this baby coming along. It's great to see.
My girlfriend told me now and said, I've never seen a bloke that actually took to changing a nappy so quick. When I first found out, it was like I don't want the baby getting brought into this world. Because I had nothing, but because now everything is looking up and like, yeah, there's nothing like it.
It has been an important week for Stacey too. Just days before she completed weekend 2 in Capure, all her family gathered for a big date in her diary.
You nervous, son?
Yeah.
Are you? Yeah. You got a limousine coming now?
Yeah, tonight I'm going to a debutante. And we'll be getting dressed up and then going off with me classmates and friends of mine. They're all starting to come down, my nerves are going. My school doesn't have a Debs, so all my friends' Debs was coming up and I wasn't going to a Deb, so I wanted to have that experience. So the few students that wanted to go to a Debs, I went up to another school and asked them could we join them going to their Debs.
She's really blossoming, you know, she really is after coming out of herself.
Thanks, Peggy, and nearly crying coming out. Because just the adrenaline and the rush of it, you know. I'm starting to come out of my shell like a bit more, and like I'm not as nervous or like I wasn't confident before, like coming out and reading stuff like that.